Free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins has signed a 2-year contract with the Tennessee Titans. I got a couple of reasons why this is a win for the Jets. Let's talk about it. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WR2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like. And remember to join me every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. for Wednesday Night Live with WR2K99. So we're going to talk a little bit about DeAndre Hopkins here. Just signed a 2-year deal with Tennessee worth $26 million in base salary, and if he reaches certain incentives, it could be up to $32 million. Now, as a New York Jets fan, on one hand, it's not very good seeing him go from the NFC to the AFC. It's like, how many more great players does the AFC need? I mean, when they do the Pro Bowl, if they do play the Pro Bowl game again, I know they do the Pro Bowl games nowadays. I think I know why. Because the AFC is so many light years better than the NFC, it is almost embarrassing right now. Now, here's the thing. I never really felt going into this season Tennessee was much of a playoff contender to begin with. I know Mike Vrabel is, 2 years removed from being Coach of the Year, but they really took a nosedive this past season. Now, one thing that they are really lacking was wide receiver. Now, I heard this stat from Rich Eisen, want to give him the credit on this. If you look at the Titans roster, at the Titans organization, do you know what player on their team has the most career touchdown receptions? You know who it is? It's Mike Vrabel, their head coach. I believe he had 12 career touchdowns. You know, Tom Brady's favorite trick target. Mike Vrabel scored quite a few touchdowns. You know, you've got Treylon Burks. You've got, a lot of us like Kyle Phillips coming out of the draft 2 seasons ago. But, you don't really have a whole lot of known weapons. So, in that sense, it kind of makes sense to bring in DeAndre Hopkins when your head coach, who is a defensive player, has the most career touchdowns of anybody in the organization. So I did think that was pretty funny. But even with the addition of Hopkins, I still don't think they're in the same league as the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, Tennessee is not on the Jets' schedule this year. So I'm not concerned, except, Tennessee is playing in a pretty lousy division by comparison, especially for the AFC. I have no confidence in Indianapolis unless Anthony Richardson turns out to be RG3 from his first season, where he just lifts the whole team up. I don't know if he's ready to do that. I think Houston's actually a little bit better than Indianapolis. I think they could win maybe 6 games or so, depending on the quarterback play. But I like some of the additions that Houston has brought in. I like DeMeco Ryans as their head coach. And also for Tennessee, the AFC East team they play this year, they only got one, and it's Miami. And I got to tell you, I think that gives Tennessee a better chance, the addition of Hopkins, to beat Miami. It's going to be interesting to see a Jalen Ramsey or a Xavier Howard trying to cover Hopkins. These players are all, reaching just kind of over the crest in terms of their prime, So I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. But the main reason why I'm so happy is that he's not going to New England. The Patriots had the salary cap space to match this deal if they wanted to. The Patriots have close to $18 million of cap space. They offered Hopkins a pretty high contract in terms of overall value, but much of that contract was incentives. They weren't willing to guarantee Hopkins the money. So Hopkins was saying he wants to play with a great team. He wants the best chance to win. At the end of the day, let's be honest, he took the money. Kansas City was kind of in play for him a little bit. I mean, who has the better chance to win a championship this year, Kansas City or Tennessee? You tell me. Now, the thing with Hopkins, he's still talented. This is why he would have made some sense for New England. They've got a pretty inexperienced wide receiver room, all things considered, and they've really got a lot of injury concerns. They brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, but he's really their number one receiver, and I'm sorry, Juju to me is not a number one receiver. He's a nice complementary receiver, a 2, a 3, something like that. But there is not a single defensive coordinator in the NFL who's going to be losing sleep this season thinking, how are we going to cover Juju? How are we going to cover Juju? Okay, after that, you've got Devontae Parker, who's fine, but, I don't know if he's ever really put it all together for an extended period of time. You've got Kendrick Bourne. You've got Tyquan Thornton, who's a little bit younger. It's a okay wide receiver core, but it's not really scaring anybody. And when you have Mac Jones as your quarterback, sometimes you need really good playmakers to make up for a quarterback who is that erratic and that skittish. Okay, so they did bring in Mike Gesicki as well, a tight end, but let's be honest. Mike Gesicki last year, he had 32 catches in 17 games last year. Mike Gesicki wasn't lighting the world on fire here. Plus Hopkins is very familiar with Bill O'Brien, did amazingly well in that system too. To me, it would have made a lot of sense for New England to bring him in. They don't, and I think that is a game for the rest of the AFC East. So as far as Hopkins' stats go, he's missed 15 games over the last 2 seasons, which could be a concern. But in the 9 games he played last year, he still had 64 catches, 717 yards, 3 touchdowns. So still a very good receiver who commands attention. Not what he was, but he was definitely going to elevate New England if he joined them, and he's definitely going to elevate Tennessee. How much will he elevate them? I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, but this works out very well for the Jets, that he will see Miami this season and that the Jets won't have to see him twice this season. Although, let's be honest, I have every confidence that Sauce or djreed could handle DeAndre Hopkins more than adequately. Well, those are my thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins signing with Tennessee. I want to know your thoughts too. Put them right down there in the comments. Again, please join me Wednesday night. I'm so excited to do episode 3. We're going to have a fantastic time together. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.